2005 video, the one you've seen several thousand times in the last week, and the accusations that followed it have left a sour taste in the mouths of many, including a lot of Christians. Many are still standing behind Trump. Why is that? Syndicated radio show host, popular Christian author Eric Metaxas is here, also the author of, honestly, one of the best books written in the last 10 years. A book about Dietrich Bonhoeffer was just absolutely fantastic. I have to suck up.
You sure I wrote it?
See, you did.
Okay.
So, and by the way, also the author of a brand new book, If You Can Keep It, which I'm sure is every bit as good.
It's actually much better.
Is it?
And shorter.
Done.
Yeah.
So Christians are, in many cases, in a quandary. They want to vote not just for a man who represents their interests, but also for a decent man.
Right.
And they look at this tape and they say, this is an indecent man. So what should they do?
Well, first of all, I think we have to be much more nuanced. There's no such thing as an indecent man or a decent man. As a Christian, okay, I say we are all indecent, we're all sinners, we're all broken. It doesn't mean that there aren't people that are more decent than others. But I think we're at a time in our political life and in our culture, actually that's kind of the point of the book, If You Can Keep It, is that we haven't been keeping the republic. Franklin said, if you can keep it. In other words, it's up to the people to keep the republic. For the last 30 or 40 years, we've not been teaching why we should love our country and on and on and on. I don't need to explain to you and your audience. And in a way, that's why we have this election. And I think things are different.
Things are different. So you're saying, I think the impulse of a lot of people of faith is to say, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out. Right. Exactly right. But you're saying that Christians, maybe obligation is too strong, but they ought to vote for Trump because why?
Okay, it's real simple. The idea that you could not vote, I find that it's purely to assuage our own consciences, to say, oh, I didn't dirty my hands by voting for that pig.
Right.
Well, guess what? You then elected the other pig. We have two imperfect candidates. We have to make the imperfect, difficult decision. Here's why. If you care about poor kids in America, okay, they're going to be affected by who's president.
Yes.
If you care about other countries, if you care about what happens in the Middle East, about kids watching their fathers drowned by ISIS, if you care about people, you have to think about those people, and you have to make a mature, rational choice. And the reason it's difficult is because we want everything to be black and white, and neat and clean. But my attitude is that we're at a point in our country right now where if Hillary Clinton is elected president, and by the way, if Christians sit home and don't vote, if people just say, I don't want to vote, or they vote for Gary Johnson or whoever else, Hillary Clinton will be elected. The point is, the Christians will then have to live with that. They're acting as though they don't.
So what are the issues that ought to propel Christians to vote specifically for Trump?
The most specific one has to do with the Supreme Court. People have talked about it. We're at a point, we're at a tipping point. If it was 1980, we wouldn't be here. Today, if we get a couple more Sotomayors or Ginsburgs on the court, we effectively have the end of genuine self-government. You're going to have an activist Supreme Court. We've never had anything quite like that before. That's effectively the end of America as we know it. We become America in quotes. Religious liberty goes out the window. We're not supposed to have the establishment of a religion. We are already seeing the establishment effectively of a secular humanist religion, which the government is getting behind. But remember, the government's not supposed to pick winners.
It's taking sides.
Economically, financially, corporately, or in the idea of ideas. They're doing that with regard to marriage, with regard to the definition of the human person. That is already happening. If Hillary Clinton is elected, that's going to be so dispositive. It's going to change everything.
Yes.
People who don't understand that need to think about this because it's going to be a new America. Right. I'm very sorry to say.
So bottom line, you're not feeling it in order to feel virtuous. You know, that's not why you're voting. You're voting because
it's not about my virtue, and it's not about the lack of virtue of Donald Trump. It's about the people who are going to be affected.
Right.
Just like I cite Wilberforce, he worked with horrible people because he's thinking of the African slaves. If you care about somebody, you sometimes have to work with people you don't like. You have to do things you don't like. I think for many people, voting for Donald Trump is that thing. But if you don't do it, God's going to hold you responsible for the policies of Hillary Clinton. There's no way to squirm out of it.
Eric Metaxas has a great piece in the Journal making a lot of these points, which you should read. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hillary Clinton stayed behind closed doors today. Donald Trump